welcome to another episode of New to Me. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and today what I have above me is the Godox VL150. Now, I am going to be doing this video today. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to tell you all the things that people are not telling you about this unit. Now, full disclosure, I bought this with my own money. These are my own opinions. Nobody's paying me for this. These are my honest, sincere opinions. And I'm going to tell you all the cons with these things because everyone's telling you all the pluses. And I just picked this up today I got it at Adorama. It's on sale for Black Friday. At the time of this video is being recorded, it's $2.99, I think. It's about $300. But let's just jump right into it and let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Now, this is either a con or a pro, and that is there is a lot of messy cord. There's a lot of cord that's a pro, but it's very messy to deal with, and that is a con. There's just so much cord. You've got the power cord, which is like 15 feet. Then you've got like 8 feet of this, and then 6 feet of that. And the problem is, what do you do with it all? It all just sort of kind of hangs here. And one thing I wish is you cannot remove the cord from the power box to the control unit. So it's just going to stay like this. I wish it were a little bit shorter. It is just too long. And I get it. It's you can get this thing up really, really high, and then you get this fantastic remote so you can control it. But this is just going to be in my studio. I don't need it to be super high. So moving up, I will say that all the connectors are fantastic. Great locking pins, solid connections. Moving up, let's talk about the connection from the power box to the power brick here. First off, you get this plasticky, and it's decent plastic release. Now, this little thing, this little Velcro cradle that this slides into, this plastic thing, I have a feeling after a while is going to wear down. It is plastic. It is not great. It is fine, but it's not fantastic. And I think after a lot of slamming this in and a lot of wear and tear, this is going to start to wear out because it is plastic. So that's a little bit of a downside. Also, I really wish that this cord plugged in on the bottom because the problem of having it hang like this is it puts pressure on the pins inside, and that's not good for the actual cord. I wish it plugged into the bottom. Moving on, let's talk about, and we'll come back to both of these. I want to talk about the control box. Yes, it is made of aluminum and this is plastic, but I want to talk mainly this dial. This dial feels and is very, very cheap. I wish there was a little bit more resistance like there is on my Aperture 300D. That feels like a good quality control wheel. This just kind of clicks and feels really cheap. Again, these are the little corners they cut to make this light so affordable. But really not happy with this. And the buttons are fine. They're decent rubber buttons. They're a little bit small. And it does have a really nice display. The antenna work well. They are there for, I guess, the remote control and for DMX purposes. Now let's talk about this plastic band. It is a little concerning, and everybody has actually said this. Hopefully that'll last more than 6 months. It feels pretty strong, but the problem is because you have this heavy control box and this heavy power bank on here, you're putting, and I can already see this is stretched out a bit, you're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on this one cable that I'm not sure is going to hold. So what you might want to do is you might want to go and pick up one of these. I believe this is by Came TV. It is basically a super clamp with a V-mount on there. And I have these for a lot of my stuff. I use them on my camera rigs for my V-mount batteries. But you might just want to put one of these on here and then take the power bank and just stick the power bank. Take the power bank off the control box. This is going to save the cord. Just a little helpful hint here. And it's not going to be as heavy, and this is going to last longer. And of course, if you do have a V-mount battery, I would also suggest not mounting it directly to the control box. There is a D-tap on this side that you can D-tap into. do the same thing. And you're going to save the cord and you're going to save the whole thing. Now, I really wish that there was some kind of clamping mechanism like there is on the Aperture 300D. And yes, I'm using the Aperture 300D Mark II for this video, for all my videos. So I'm a little bit spoiled in the design area. But that's pretty much it. And then let's talk about the knob here to put where the yoke attaches to the stand. This knob is pretty cheap. I could definitely see that cracking. It feels like if I overturn it or I have to make this really tight, that I could probably snap it. But that's easy enough. You could go to a store and replace that knob for a couple of shekels. But again, you're paying $300. So again, not great. The rest of the light is made really well. The connections are fantastic, with the exception of this pulling on the pins. And you do get a lot of cords, so you can get this thing super high. It does come with a great remote, and the case here is pretty darn good. The only thing to watch out for, and I noticed this when they shipped, this is actually the second one I had. The first one came completely opened and with a hole in the box, and it looked like somebody had gone through it. So I sent it back to the store and they replaced it. And it's not bad. The padding is okay. One thing you have to watch out for is the piece of foam that goes into the beauty dish. That has a tendency to slide out, and the beauty dish kind of moves around. There's not a lot of solid padding in the case. During transport, things are going to move around inside. Now, luckily, the beauty dish is rock solid. It's not like the SL60 beauty dishes, which were thinner than thin, and I had to return a couple of them several times because the beauty dishes would arrive dented. But that is something just to know. Other than that, case is pretty rock solid. No complaints with that. So let's jump over to the wall and let's talk about functionality. Okay, so here we have the light. We are back at 5600 Kelvin, and as you can tell, there is an absolutely huge hot spot in this, and that is one of the downsides. Now, if you're going to put this in a big octagon softbox, if you're going to use diffusion, that is not a huge problem. But let's take a look at light edging here. And as you see, there's not really bending. It does get a little bit dark towards the end on this side, as you can see. But it's not bad. It has fairly nice fall off. And let's go ahead and remove the dish. And as you can see, super bright. This is 100%. And again, the fall off is not too bad. The edge shadowing is not too bad. It looks like maybe you might get like a double shadow, a single and a half shadow there. Double shadow maybe. But that's not bad. Fan, I just turned this on, so it seems relatively quiet. Now, let's take a look at the V-mount battery problem, issue I should say. Now, I am using the recommended 150 battery. This is a brand new battery. This is fully charged, just came off the charger. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And we will unplug in the dark here. And let's go ahead and seat this battery. And let's go ahead and turn this on. Okay, so note the brightness right here. One thing also to look out for when you're mounting this battery is make sure that you get a good lock, because you can actually, if you don't get a good enough lock and you tap this, the whole light will turn off. That's true with the Aperture as well, and some of the cheaper lights. Now, note the brightness of this light. Now watch what happens when I plug it in. There is at least a 5 to 10 degree spike in the brightness. So just know that you are not going to get the full 100% brightness out of this light when you are on battery. And that to me is a little bit surprising. The fact that you are not getting 100% on a recommended battery. That is another thing to note. But again, it was not that much, maybe 5, maybe 10 degrees more brightness if this thing is plugged in. Just find that a little odd that they didn't even mention that you're not getting 100%. You're only getting like 90-95%. But other than that, just looking at this, I'm looking at the edges. I really cannot tell that there is a magenta tint on this. Even looking at my monitor, I notice it very slightly to my eye, but I really don't think you'll need a gel, and especially if you're going to modify this, which you most likely are. So all in all, very, very, very nice, but that is, again, something to look out for, the fact that, again, not getting 100% power with the V-mount battery. So let's jump over to the main table for my final thoughts. Okay, so my final thoughts on this thing. Look, I'm being very nitpicky here. These are things that you, from a design aspect, or things that you may not like when you get this unit. Now, again, I admit I am spoiled because I have an Aperture 300D Mark II, which I use for all my videos. And if you are coming from Aperture to this, it's going to be a little bit of a shock. Not too much, but a little bit. But don't get me wrong, the Godox VL150 still is a fantastic light, super bright. To my eye, I don't think you need a 1/8 plus green correction gel. I can't really tell that the light is just slightly magenta. It's very difficult to tell. This thing is very spot on for brightness, very spot on, seems very spot on for color. You can go look at other reviews for color readings. There are just a few design things that don't tick my box and that I find are going to be very difficult to deal with on set. Like, of course, the the amount of wires that you have to kind of manipulate here, and also the fact that the battery, you have to make sure you seat the battery just right, but that's true in all V-mount things. But the fact that you're also not going to get a full power when you have a V-mount battery on here. You're going to get, like, it looks like 5% less. From when I had the battery in, and from when I plugged it in, it went up maybe 5, maybe 10%. And the fact that this is not stepless, I know some people don't like the fact that things aren't stepless, but this is not a stepless light by any possible means of the imagination. So that's it. Those are kind of the cons of this light, things that you should know before you buy it. I still think that this is fantastic if you are a beginner filmmaker. I mean, I have friends who are professional cinematographers and professional gaffers, and they are grabbing these things and using them on professional shoots because they are so cheap, but they are so, they're just really good. They're really terrific. Just a few things to be aware of. That's it. I am done talking. Those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.